here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome and thanks for joining me. In today's video, we're going to talk about how I basically build these blues songs. And what I mean by blues songs is I'm just kind of making some stuff up. I'm using some basic patterns, some basic structures, and I'm putting some stuff together. Now, this is not a new idea. In fact, I have an entire course on this type of stuff. It's called How to Jam the Blues Alone on Your Guitar. But what I'm going to do is just sort of do a little tiny version of that. And I want to show you something with the licks. And this is something that I've actually never covered exactly this way before. So it is going to be a little bit new, but I want to show you that I'm going to use basically two ideas, but I'm going to get sort of four, maybe even a little bit more out of those two ideas. So anyway, kind of pay attention to the licks. I've got four of them. Let me show you the first one. This one's going to revolve around that idea. Now you're going to notice the end of that a lot. Okay, and that's just something that's fairly standard, but I'm going to show you what we might do to change that, depending on how you use it. Now, the first thing that I want to call your attention to is the fact that at beat one, at the very start of the bar, is nothing. And the reason there's nothing there is because we're going to put whatever chord we're on. So let's say we're playing blues in E, because these are all the E minor blues scale, minor blues scale. I might play either an E7 chord in its entirety, or more than likely, I'd probably just play like the lowest couple of notes. I could even go so far as to do like a thump bass. Okay, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But there's a variety of rhythms that I can put with this. So I don't want you to get hung up on any one particular one. Do the one that works for you. So I'm going to just play kind of those first couple of notes of my E chord. Okay, in beat one. You can put whatever chord you're on, put there. The open E at the top doesn't have to be there. It's kind of a gasp. It's kind of like, here we go, right? So the way I kind of feel the 1, 2, 3, 4 is almost like breathing, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that breath in is kind of what gives me that. So I like to have my lick start with that. So I have that little sort of, that's sort of like almost a breath to get started. And I've got my third finger on, third fret on the second string, fourth fret on the third string. I can use my second and third fingers for that, my first and second fingers for that. It doesn't really matter. Theoretically, even your third and fourth, if that's comfortable. And I'm going to play triplets. 2 and 3 and Now, if the slide gives you trouble, just don't do it. Just leave it out. But if you want to articulate it a little fancier. And then we go down to the second fret, pull off to the open, and hit the second fret on the fourth string. Now, that last note, that's an E. Okay, again, that note I would probably make match whatever chord I'm about to play. So E. If the next chord I was going to play is A, I might go and come back to A, right? Or if it was B, I might go to the B. I don't have to, okay? There's no requirement that says I have to do that. There's no requirements really with any of this. So I'm trying to give you some options and things that you can modify, because those options and those things that you choose to modify are what give you your own unique sound. And that's how you can make your own unique sound from just these handful of ingredients. And that's what I think is most important. Okay, so jumping back in here, that's the lick. Okay, so let's just put, again, I'm going to use kind of a little bit of palm mute with my picking hand. I'm going to come across open E and the second fret on the fifth string, just a little bit of that E chord. You can call it an E power chord if you want, but basically it's doing the job of an E7. So I'm going to have 1, 2, And then because the one chord that happens 4 times at the beginning of a blues, I'm going to play that 4 times. But now it's time for the 4 chord, the A. So I'm going to hit A and E. Same lick, so you get the hang of it. So I'm doing this twice, back to E. Again, E again. Then I'll go to B. Then to A. And back to E. And you could probably just do E again, or you can do B. The last bar is up to you. Okay, now it's not very fancy and it may not be very exciting, but you have just created a blues. You have chords, right? You've played the 12-bar blues pattern, hitting the chord at the beginning of each bar. I often call this playing on the porch style playing. It's that sort of, hit the chord at the first beat and then play a lick. You've played the same lick for every single bar, so it's probably going to get a little bit old. But let me show you how easy it is to modify it in such a way you're not actually going to change any notes. All we're going to do is go. Okay, so I'm coming in to that slide on that off beat. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. And again, if the slide, if that's too hard, just play the note. Notice how I'm articulating it, how I'm starting it and stopping it. Right? So I have short, long, short, long, short. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Very important. My picking hand is going against the strings to stop it. My fretting hand is lightening its load. Okay, that's how we get the good sound. A. Right? I can do the same thing, or I can switch back. Right, that's the old lick. B, this lick. A, the old lick. So hopefully what you can see is that the goal is to take one of the ideas and play it a lot, right? You got to get good at it. Most people don't spend enough time getting good at one thing. Most folks will take the first lick and sort of halfway maybe get it a little bit, and then they'll go on to the second lick and sort of halfway get that, and then go on to the third and sort of halfway get that. And by that time, they can't remember the first lick anymore. And then, so they go back to the first lick, and by that point, they can't remember the third one anymore. And by the time they get that one, they go back to the second one, and you can see how this goes. It's just this big tail chasing that we don't want. Get to the point where you can play that first lick and like have a conversation. Okay? Like, I could literally be talking to my wife about what we're gonna have for dinner. I don't know, you wanna go to Mexican? Maybe Chinese? And I still even messed up, right? So you really gotta, it's gotta be second nature, okay? Same thing with the second lick. Maybe I want tacos. Maybe I want Italian. Maybe I gotta go to the grocery store and get some steaks. Okay, doesn't matter. I know it's a really silly litmus test, but it works. Your brain has to be able to do something else, and you can still play those licks. If you're not at that point yet, chances are when you go to actually use it in a song and you're trying to pull this stuff out, it's just not going to be there for you. It has to be on kind of on autopilot. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Let's go on now. So what we've got 2 ideas that are very, very similar. Notice all I changed was the rhythmic element of that, okay? And you know I'm really big on rhythm. It's a big deal, but this is why. Because you get 2 fairly different ideas from the same set of finger movements just by changing the rhythm. So we've got 2 licks so far. So what you want to be able to do is do an entire blues with either of those two licks comfortably, and then an entire blues where you switch back and forth between them as you see fit. When you can do that, let me show you another idea. Okay, so you might notice this isn't all that different, okay? I was sliding into that before. The only difference is I'm gonna spread it out. So I'm going, I've still got my little breath, right? That open E, my breath in. I'm gonna slide up to the 4th fret, strike the 3rd, strike the open in triplets. 2 and 3 and, sorry, I hit the wrong string. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. If you want to do like I do, you can use your pick, index finger, pick, middle finger, ring finger. A. E. B. A. I messed up. Not my, that wasn't supposed to be the one because that's the next one. But I love that one. So we'll do that one now. But you get the idea, right? You can do this whole thing. Now, of course, I could mix that. Second one, third one, second, first, third. Right, I'm just kind of changing them up as they come to me. I'm just literally making it up as I go along, placing at the first beat of each measure whatever chord we're on. It's not a very complicated approach, but it works very, very well. The other thing this really does for you that's super important, you have to keep the time. Okay, you have to, in your mind, has to be going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it has to kind of keep going. Yes, you can set a metronome if you want, but if you have trouble staying with it, turn it off, because it isn't helping you. If it's over there clicking, but you're not following, or it's over there beeping, but you're not following it, it's just extra noise. Okay, so don't have it run unless you're genuinely trying to stay with it. Okay, so now that we've done all those, let me show you the one I accidentally just played. And again, it's sort of a different variation on a theme. I'm going to start, instead of that open E for my breath in, I'm going to start with the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Open E, D pulls off to B, slide up to the B on the 3rd string, just like I did before, the D in the open E, just like I did before. I put a slide back to the 2nd fret. How else are you going to get there? I probably didn't need to notate that, but I did. And again, and that's the same as we've done at the end of all of these phrases. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and so again, I'm just doing it for all the chords. Trying not to mess up. Here's the A. And I changed it up a little bit at the end, but that's the idea. You can change it up a little bit. As you get good at it, you get comfortable with it, it's kind of hard not to. You kind of want to get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm really tired of playing this same lick. Let's play this other one. You know, when you get that it's like, oh, I'm bored, I need to move on. That's good. That means you've really, really, really got the hang of it. Okay? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what about the turnaround? what do I do for the turnaround? Okay, well, first of all, don't worry about it, because what you can do for those last 2 bars, which is called the turnaround, is the same thing that you've been doing. You don't have to do anything special. You can play both bars as the 1 chord. You can play the first bar as the 1 chord and the last bar as the 5 chord, or you can throw in any number. And believe me, there's tons. I think I have a course called 20 Turnaround and Ending Licks, and that's just 20 I sort of came up with off the top of my head. There's so many of them out there, it's not even funny. So if you want, try this one. Okay, so again, I'm putting that in as the last 2 bars. So now what I have is basically I'm going to put all of this stuff together in any random order. It's not important. Okay, I'm going to try to go in order, but you don't have to. I'm only going to do it in order so that it makes some sense. I'm just going to pick some order. As you get good at this and as it flows, you want to let it flow. You want to do maybe the 3rd lick 2 or 3 times in a row just because it sounds cool. That's fine. You can do it however you want. And when I get to the end, I'm going to play my turnaround lick. So here's what that might sound like. Again, it's not going to be the same for everybody. You're going to make this up. You're going to change it however you want it to go. But check it out. Here's the first lick. Second lick. Third lick. Fourth lick. First lick. Second lick, sorry. Here's the turnaround. Again. As you can probably imagine, it's actually hard for me to only play those 4 ideas. But you see how it goes, right? Things start to flow and it starts to be fun, and you can mix stuff up even more. Like I can take, that first one and mix it with the second. Or mix the second and the third. You can take like 1 beat out of one and 1 beat out of another. And you'll find that when you get to the point that you can play these really easily and really comfortably, you can do that. You can mix and match the pieces, even of the pieces. And it really, really does work that way. Okay. Now, as I said, the way I played that was just doing, kind of that at the beginning of every measure. If you were so inclined, you could do like the traditional blues in E for a bar, and then do the thing. Now I'm the A. I'll still do my turnaround. I know this is kind of a lot to digest and a lot to process. So again, I want to remind you that the way to go about this is to take one chunk at a time. If you don't already know the 12-bar blues form, for example, this is going to be almost impossible because you're not going to know where you are in the form. So, go back to some of my more beginning videos on the 12-bar blues and really get that down. That's absolutely a prerequisite to this. If you don't have that, this will be borderline impossible. If you've never played any of these types of licks before, they're going to be a little bit of a challenge to you simply to get your fingers around them. And that's okay. Just be aware that it's going to take a little while. On the other hand, you might be great at this sort of thing. You might already be quite comfortable playing these licks, and maybe you've just never put them together quite in this way before. That's fine too, okay? And again, if you dig this kind of stuff, I'll try to remember to leave a link near this video. I do have a course called How to Jam the Blues Alone on Your Guitar, and it has basically a whole bunch of different ideas like this, where you have, different grooves that you can set up and then improvise over them. There's a lot of different ways to approach what I would consider solo acoustic blues, where you're playing by yourself. So, hope you dig the video. As always, if you have guitar playing friends that you think would enjoy this, please feel free to share it with them. You can find out more about what I do and all of my Blues Guitar Unleashed family of courses at bluesguitarunleashed.com. Click on the course catalog icon or go to gobgu.com/courses. They're all right there. Or you can check out, I have an all-access pass where you can have access to everything. You can try it out for $1. Again, that's gobgu.com/$AAP. Try to leave some links near this video for you. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Again, share with friends. And I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.